Hey, welcome to my channel. Now, there is something I wanted to talk about. I was hesitating a lot because I wasn't sure that I was ready to share what I'm about to share on my channel. But I really think that now is the time. And so I'm going to be telling you about the the life that I've been living in the past 12 years of my life. I feel like it may help other people open up to the idea that they aren't alone. And I also want to share the truth because I feel like there's a lot of things there's a lot of things that needed to come out. I feel like a lot of things are needed to be said, and not a lot of people are willing to say it, but a lot of people are waiting on these words, on these messages. And I feel like I needed to share mine. I feel like I need to share mine. So you guys, I'm just gonna hop right in, okay? There's one thing. I feel like there's this one feeling that is very, very strong. Ultimately, love conquers all, right? But I feel like we are before fully stepping into this phase of our lives that we call, love, where we are creating the realities by remaining in alignment with our highest love or purest form of love. I feel like it's gonna take a lot of us in the collective, individuals coming out, sharing their stories of what it is when you actually live in this feeling that is so opposite of love, which I will be discussing with you guys today, which is unworthiness. To me, hate is not the opposite of love. Hate is not the opposite of love. To me, the opposite of love is unworthiness. The underlying feeling that we all feel as humans to a degree, right? To a certain degree, to various degrees, is the feeling of unworthiness. The feeling of unworthiness will really take us out of that love alignment that we all are worthy of, right? But to some various degrees, depending where you're from, depending on the culture you have, even the skin color you have, even the social statuses you have, the economical status you have, I feel like there are some degrees, that there are levels to this unworthiness, right? I feel like some groups of people are gonna feel way less unworthy than other groups of people. I feel like some groups of people carry the unworthiness of the world on the back of their shoulders, while some of them don't, or not as much. So the feeling of unworthiness, when we get to the deep root of it, I feel like once we overstand, that feeling of unworthiness is something that all human beings have been experiencing in the past maybe 2,000 years. 2,000 years, or maybe even more so. But the reason why I say it is the underlying feeling that we all share, that we absolutely need to get rid of, because it is poison. Unworthiness is the poison, is the death, is the hate, is the pain, is the trauma that ultimately made us live in this state of constant bondage, constant feeling of not being worthy, constant shame, constant guilt, constant fear. And it has brought us to the state of the world in which we are in right now. It's accumulation, it's generational, it has been there for a long time. And I feel like now is the time to break free from it. I feel like it's really the time to look at unworthiness from a practical standpoint that no longer is elusive, that you get the word unworthiness, but how does that translate in your life? How are you capable of picking on, oh, that's that feeling she's been telling us about. You know what I mean? So the feeling of unworthiness. How do we get to even feel unworthiness? Right? And why is this feeling of unworthiness is always being carried with us as the moment as we are born to the very last breath that we can take. I mean, if we have not done the work to eliminate that feeling of unworthiness, it can really much so take you up to your grave, right? So, because I feel it's a topic that needs to be detailed, that needs to be perceived, that needs to be talked through, I'm going to do a series of it, right? First, I'm gonna be speaking of unworthiness and how I've been living in that feeling for quite some time now. I would say maybe all of my life, or maybe at a very young age, I felt this feeling of unworthiness, and I kept on pulling on that feeling and feeding off of that feeling that had put me in a place where I was constantly bringing into my space people, situations, reflections, ideas, concepts, habits that would keep me in that constant state of unworthiness. And so in the first part of the series, I will be talking extensively about my experience with how unworthiness translated in my world, how it translated from the moment I came into this world to where I am today. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my story, because I feel like it is being reflected on so many levels. And it is something that needs to be dealt with at the individual level. It's no longer a concept that needs to be taught in the church or to a certain group. I feel like it's really something that we need to tackle on the individual level. We need to really dig deeper into our stories as to how do we continue to carry that burden of unworthiness on so many levels, but yet we do it effortlessly. It is something that is so embedded in our subconscious, or I would say even embedded in our genes, that sometimes it's hard to recognize that we've kept on walking with this burden of unworthiness. And I feel like once we do that, once we're capable of recognizing where unworthiness lies, where unworthiness led me to, where unworthiness is present in my life, once we can pinpoint it down to a T of how it unfolds in our lives, on our everyday lives, how it did impact our lives as a whole human being, I feel that we can move in a better direction. We can start analyzing, we can start healing, we can start seeing things from a different perspective, but we need to address it. Where does it come from? So yes, I will be sharing a part of my story as to how unworthiness played itself up in my life. And then in the second part of the series, I will be talking about the underlying roots of unworthiness. Where does it come from? Why do we walk with it with so much grace when in actuality we should relinquish that feeling at the very moment we feel it? We should have all the tools to fight that feeling, because it is poison. It is poison. It is not even the destroyer. It's just perpetual hell. It's not even death, because death is a cycle of birth and death and birth again. But unworthiness in and of itself is a jail cell where you are constantly in that space of hell, of perpetual pain. So you guys, this is me. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my story. It's gonna be shocking. It's going to be shocking for many of you. And I'm just letting you know that my story that I'll be sharing is gonna be trigger warning to many of you. But don't pull back. You know, find time when your mind is right. Sit down, listen to my series. So in the first part, I will be sharing about my story. I don't know how long is that going to take. It might take, I don't want to do long videos. So I will do them in short, under 12 minutes videos, so that you can sit down with it, hear it, listen to it, integrate it, you know, think about it, reflect on it, find it within your life where those feelings of unworthiness are embedded, deep embedded in your lives, and then come back, because after the part 1 where I share my story, in part 2 I will be sharing with you guys, where is those feelings coming from? Why do we still find the need to carry that feeling of unworthiness? Is it worthy of us to keep on carrying those burdens of unworthiness? And how do we move away from those feelings? How do we recognize that it's over, that we do not need to carry those feelings of unworthiness in our lives anymore? That's what I'll be sharing with you guys. I hope you are just as excited as I am, because y'all, we need each other on this battle. We need each other. All right? Peace out, guys. Take care.